Notary days. How did notaries acquire new functions and strengthen their role in the judicial system? The challenge. Notaries in Latvia represent an independent legal profession. The government specifies the public functions of notaries, but it does not provide funding for them. Notaries are chosen freely, and citizens pay for the services which are rendered. When the real estate bubble burst in 2008, notaries lost a significant share of their work and their revenues. Wholesale bankruptcy was possible, and trust-related problems raised the question of the further development of the notarial system. The objective of relevant communications activities was to secure the work and revenues of notaries. The campaign. The goal was to gain the trust of decision-makers and to ensure a new function for notaries, handling uncontested divorce cases so as to create new foundations for revenues and the stable development of the notary's institution. Internal communications. In order to come closer to the slogan that was developed at the beginning of the campaign, notaries, the lawyers who are closest to the public, we ensured the strengthening of the notarial system by implementing a common notarial identity, common client services, serious training programs, certification, honoring of the Notary of the Year, and so on. Public communications. Public communications activities provided support to a successful public affairs campaign. A new tradition was started, the annual Notary Days event, where free legal advice is provided so as to demonstrate competence and openness, as well as to improve the image of notaries among the public and among decision-makers. Publicity about targeted research activated thinking about the overload of Latvian courts, thus fostering the opinion that functions in the judicial system must be redistributed. Communications with decision-makers. When the preparatory work was done, notaries worked actively and directly with decision-makers. To place the relevant issues on the agenda, notaries presented to all of the most important decision-makers academic research related to the competence of sworn notaries, as well as to notaries as a public solution to the problem of court overloads. After intensive work and discussions with notaries, the Ministry of Justice recommended legal amendments to the government. As notaries faced opposition from courts and registry offices, they explained their position in the media and to stakeholders. Convincing arguments from notaries led the government to approve the amendments. During parliamentary debates, notaries organized a discussion with representatives of the Presidential Chancery, the Saeima Legal Office, and party factions. Thus, relevant decision-makers gained confidence about the willingness of notaries to handle undisputed divorce cases. The results. Targeted communications enhanced the competence and self-confidence of notaries, also strengthening their public image. Over the course of several years of active work, notaries have changed their image from expensive rubber stamps to a trusted partner which helps the state to diminish the overload of the country's court system. More than 30,000 people received free advice during Notary Days events, and several hundreds of positive articles have been generated by this. The success of notaries has inspired attorneys to organize lawyer days. The public perception of notaries has changed, and notaries are now seen as reliable partners for the state, as well as competent and accessible lawyers for the public. It is only logical that uncontested divorces have been entrusted to Latvian notaries. This is the first example in the Latvian public sector of how one institution can completely reshape its image, improve the quality of services, and gain new functions. 900 uncontested divorces were handled by notaries during the first month after the law was adopted, and a total of 9,773 divorces have been handled since that time. This has provided notaries with a steady flow of additional work.